Right, okay, so latest instalment in the Range Rover project. This is a pair of twin SUs. This is a pair of twin SUs sitting on a Rover V8 manifold. They came off the project car that I'm working on right now. I've got a feeling the SU carburetors, or specific the SD1, still got the tags and so forth on them, so I'll be able to identify what specification they are. I've really got a lot of experience of working with Strombergs. I've worked with SUs back very early in my car messing around days, but I think the plan for this is, whether I use them or not, I'm going to strip this manifold down, I'm going to clean the components, I'm going to reassemble it with new gaskets and so forth, checking that the jet sets and so forth are in good shape, and then we'll take it from there. Really want to sort of just document the strip down of this thing. If we turn this right around, this is the back of the inlet manifold. So here we've got the throttle linkage. The throttle cable will come through there and onto this, then it would pull it and it opens both throttles. As you can see, there's a nice little diagonal mechanism. Choke cable, single choke cable, goes down through there and attaches onto this little joblet down here. And the idea then is, when you pull the choke open, it opens both chokes. It's a bit sticky. It's got a fast idle setting just here. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if the light is good enough in here. It's probably a bit in the shade. There's a fast idle screw there which you can adjust, and it's the same on both carburetors. But on the Range Rover, they normally only have a choke on one Stromberg. It's normally on the back of that one. So other features we've got on here. There's a vacuum takeoff, and that's for the Range Rover diff lock. Fuel filter. That's actually for the breather side of anything, because the fuel actually comes in through this line here, returns to the tank through that line there. So basically this thing is designed, I guess, for a mechanical fuel pump which will just pump constantly. So because of that, there's two fuel lines. There's one from the tank, one to the tank. With electronic fuel pumps, we'll probably do away with the return, but I want to try and keep this thing as original as I can. The reason I don't think these are Range Rovers, these elbows up here have got grey paint on them, which the Range Rovers, I don't think they had any paint on the carburetors or inlet manifold. It's got not a switch on it, that's for the cold setting, and it's got non-return valve. That fella there goes to the servo. That's the vacuum pipe to the servo, so there should be a non-return valve in there. I'll check that works. Temperature sender, which goes to the dashboard, tells you how hot the engine's running. You've got thermostat in here, and then at the bottom here, these two here are the heater pipes, which one goes through the inlet manifold, which is this one, and then one returns from the heater back into the cooling system. So those two there are the heater pipes. That's pretty much about it, really. So I'm going to start by pulling this thing apart. Nothing particularly special about taking it apart. What I'll try and do is, as I strip it down, I will probably work on one carburetor at the time, so I don't tend to mix the components up between the two carburetors. I'll take some good reference photographs of the linkage at the back here to make sure I understand that. The cable's got caught there. To make sure I understand that and how that's all set up. I'll remove all of the throttle linkage. It'll all get cleaned, probably in the tank. Some of it will go in the tumbling vibrator to end up clean. The manifold itself will almost certainly end up in the glass cabinet. And when I've finished it all, it will be bare alloy, which I'm inclined to waft some aluminium, not high temperature, but aluminium engine paint over the top of, and then just spray a lacquer coat over the top of that, just to keep it looking shiny, I guess, because the alloy will oxidise quite quickly. With the dash pots, fairly easy and straightforward to clean these up. The alloy is fairly smooth on these, so a bit of steel wool normally brings these up quite nicely. You can see there, already starting to come through, little shine. That's about it. Right, wish me luck. Okay, so I've been busily stripping down this inlet manifold, and as you can see, some of these threads are pretty corroded. So far I've managed to avoid snapping anything. The problem you get is that the bolts are steel, toughened steel in some cases. The aluminium inlet manifold will react with the steel if there's water, and it will corrode, and they'll actually corrode together. what then happens is you end up with a welded bolt inside the thread. So to guard against this, because I really don't want to start having to tap threads and things out, try ever so gently, literally using the head of the wrench to see if I can undo these things. If I can't, I apply some heat, not so it's glowing, but so that I get some heat to the area around where the bolt is. If it does move, don't think you've done it, because it could be on its way to shearing. So I tend to tighten up very, very gently, and then loosen, then tighten, then loosen, then tighten, then loosen, then tighten, and so forth. So far this thing is coming apart, but there's been no lube or anything on any of these threads when they've gone in. So for instance this bolt here, which should be focusing on that, that came out of that hole there. It's still warm. That came out of that hole there. It's gone in, it's dead dry, but I mean that's quite a tight thread. What I'll do is I will replace these bolts anyway if I can't clean them up, and I'll re-tap the thread into here to make sure the threads are clean, and then I'm being dead organised. So what I'm doing here is, as I'm taking things off, I'm leaving the bolts in them so I know what came from where. There was a thermostat in there, which is good news. The inlet manifold especially was quite tricky to remove. I had to put a lot of heat around the inlet manifold, around this area here and up here as well. Put quite a lot of heat in these areas to encourage the inlet manifold to expand away from the from the bolt that was going into it. Right, next step. Right, okay, so you can video this now while I'm doing it. What I'm going to do next is to remove the throttle linkages so I can get this carburetor off. Carburetor is secured to the inlet manifold by 4 nuts. There we are. Not how tight this shit is. Right, okay, so I recognise these linkages. Let's see if we can come in a little bit closer to that. So you see what's going on? Great. Okay, got my big hands in the way now. These linkages, they're quite tidy actually. What you do is you push the sleeve here inwards and it pops off. And the same with this one, is you pull the sleeve out and it pops off. And there's the linkage, and you adjust the length of the linkage by winding it in and out here. So I can set those up later on. So that's one linkage out of the way. The second linkage is the one that connects the two carburetors. So we disconnected the mechanism which holds the throttle cable, or allows the throttle cable to activate, and that activates half of this. And then what we'll do now is pull this one off. Now, I've been looking at it, there's a little split pin here. I've not seen this style before, so we're genuinely venturing into new territory. I'm going to pull this split pin out. These out. Let's put that there. Little split pin. I'll put it there to remind me there's a split pin in there. And it sort of wants to come off. There, it's off. Right, so that's that rod off now. So there's nothing really. Oh, sorry, there's a choke. I'm just going to take the choke lever off as well. Choke lever can go over there. There's nothing really now that secures this carburetor to the inlet manifold. So let me do that. So a quick look of this. Edit that out later on. Right, let's get this inlet manifold off. So what I would generally do, just give me a gentle tap with the palm of my hand. If it hurts my palm, I'm going to be doing it more tightly. There we are, let's get it going. I could lube this, I suppose, but where's the fun in that? These should undo quite happily, because there is a steel stud that's threaded rod, I guess, stud, whatever, that fits in through the inlet manifold, and the nut goes onto that. So these ones tend less to cause difficulty because of corrosion, and also the engine's kind of covered in oil and crap anyway. Right, I might have to tip him upside down in a second, and then get this whole carburetor off the inlet manifold. You can do this while the engine is in the car and the inlet manifold is on the car, but this is the big but. These two down here are utter bastards. In fact, I could see that was such a bastard. It's got no nut on it. So someone has had these off in the past, probably me, because I knew I was going to take it apart again. I'm not bothered to put the nut back on again. All of this stuff is, I think these nuts are UNF, so there'll be probably a 7/16 UNF, maybe a 3/8 UNF, I don't know, I can measure them later on. I'll make sure that I get the right nuts to replace. Some of this stuff I tend to reuse, some of it I will discard and then find new. Right, okay, so let's just take the nut off there, and this nut up here, just winding them off with my fingers, this has obviously been apart. Let's get that. Useful, these things. Stops things from disappearing onto the floor. Nice little magnetic dish. Sorry, you can't see it, we can see my elbow. Nice little magnetic dish that is really useful because you can put your nuts in it. Banal. If you're working underneath the car, you can stick it onto the bottom of the engine because it's magnetic on the base as well. So I don't know. Oh, there we are. Stick it there. So quite a useful tool, that. Right. Okay, we're almost there. Whoops! It just bounced out. Oh, the irony. Right. Okay. There's one carburetor. So what we've effectively got on the carburetor, this is the air inlet side. That's the damper that works with air pressure. On this side we've got the throttle mechanism. If I pull that, the throttle opens, wide, close, and on the side here we've got the choke mechanism, which is a bypass there to allow more fuel in, and the same amount of air goes in, but obviously the more fuel goes in, it increases, it richens the mixture. So what I'm going to do next is take this fella apart. I'm not going to do any more with the inlet manifold for now, I'll leave it pretty much as it is. Let's check these gaskets on here. Oh, they're interesting, I've not seen them like that before. Ooh, that's weird. I'll look into that. I found all sorts of weird things when I've been dismantling these carburetors. Like I found these gaskets that have got sharp pointy teeth on them, and I'm not going to reuse them, but I've never seen these before, and basically they were over that mouth there, so they must have done something to the air. Sharp pointy teeth, looks like a monster of Star Wars, doesn't it? But I've never seen those before, which is why I kept them. I'll do a bit of research and find out what is what, but I've never seen that sleeve on it before. Normally it's just a big plastic spacer that sits in between the carburetor and the inlet manifold, and you can see here this inlet manifold has been quite highly polished at some point because the area has been protected by the inlet manifold.